I didn't learn how to skate overnight. I started in the beginning, took it one step at a time. Street survival, that's what it's all about. In this video, we'll be teaching a lot of tricks, starting with basic instruction. Even if you consider yourself an intermediate skater, review the basic instruction first. Intermediate instruction covers more advanced skateboard tricks, from grinders on a curb to advanced hand plant maneuvers. Ramp instruction can help you become a well-rounded skater by teaching a lot of different approaches to street ramp riding. Later on, I'll teach you a couple of tricks that I like to do, and I'll show you how to have fun while skating. Notice that each section is color-coded for your convenience when searching for a particular section. Skateboarding in the 80s has grown from a cult following to a major league sport with a worldwide pro circuit. Skate shops are becoming more and more specialized, offering more high-tech equipment and employing skaters that know what your needs are. I still feel that skateboarding is an individual sport and a means of self-expression, whether you're the best in the world or just learning from your neighbor. This video is unlike any you've ever seen before. You'll see skaters of all skill levels skating on a variety of streets in different cities. Real skaters like yourself that are learning something new every day, dedicated to skating just for the sake of being a skater. With more and more kids getting into it, I feel it necessary to go back to the basics and learn skateboarding from the beginning. Skateboarding is receiving a lot of publicity these days, on TV commercials, in movies, both news magazines and skateboard magazines. Remember, when attempting tricks that test your abilities, know basic first aid, be aware of the terrain you are riding on, think safety at all times, and wear safety gear, elbow pads, knee pads, wrist guards, and a helmet. Now join me and my friends in learning the art of skateboarding. To become a good skater, you've got to be familiar with the basic principles of skateboarding. Like any sport, an athlete warms up before any physical activity by stretching out. You should consult your family doctor and check out Barry Zaritsky's column on training tips in Trans World Skateboarding magazine to learn the proper way to stretch out and warm up in order to prevent muscle injury.
It's very important to realize that the navel area is your center of gravity, so when you first stand on a skateboard, know that you and your center of gravity will be moving forwards and backwards and rocking from side to side due to the wheels and the turning mechanisms called the trucks. Place your feet slightly behind the front and rear wheels. Practice balancing on your skateboard on carpeting or a lawn before you attempt to ride on a hard surface. Once you feel comfortable with your board, you can move forward by pushing. Pushing can be done either with your back foot or your front foot. It's safer to push with your back foot because you will have more control of your skateboard. There are two ways to stand on a skateboard. Right foot forward is called goofy foot. Left foot forward is called standard foot. To find the appropriate stance for you, try it both ways and choose which one is most comfortable. Learning to fall properly is an essential ability that you'll have to know. Practice first on a soft surface. When falling, use the basic impact roll. Lower your center of gravity and roll with the momentum of the fall. Do not resist the fall. Try to impact on as many soft, meaty parts of your body as possible to distribute your weight. Try not to impact on an individual spot. Always tuck your head away from impact zones. Backside is when you're facing the inside of a turn. Lean your weight into the toes when turning backside. Keep arms out slightly for balance, and when you first go into a turn, dip your forward shoulder in the direction of the turn. Front side is when you're facing the outside of a turn. Lean into your heels when turning front side. A series of short turns is called slalom pumping. A sharp turn can be made on two wheels. There are many ways to stop. One way is by dragging your rear foot. You can also stop by stepping off or running out by taking your back foot off first and taking a few steps while absorbing the shock with your knees, similar to stepping off an escalator. Remember not to skate faster than you can run. The dragging the tail method wears the tail down but is very common when learning to stop. Make sure not to lean back too far or you might lose your balance. A more advanced version is a 180-degree front side slide to reduce speed. Tic-tacs are the basic way to learn kick turns and another way to generate speed. Bend your forward knee up, slightly extending your rear leg. Keeping your center of gravity over your back truck, direct your weight by swinging your shoulders with your arms out for balance, and the board will follow your movements. Start with 90-degree turns, then 180-degree turns, then 360-degree turns. This can lead to a series of 360s. Each of these turns can be made either front side or back side. When doing 360s, keep your body straight and swing your arms out, gradually pulling them closer to your body. Try not to focus on any particular object. Tic-tacs can be used as a method of accelerating from a stationary position. An exaggerated tic-tac is a kick turn. Endos are a variation of the kick turn off both the tail and the nose of the board. Transfer your weight, shoulder over shoulder. Use your leading truck as the pivot point for turning. This move is called walking the dog. Place your forward foot in the center of the board and pivot on your front toe, crossing your rear foot over and placing it on the nose. Then, press your weight into the nose, swinging your rear foot around in front. Repeat the sequence. You can try many more variations to this maneuver. To pull a tail wheelie, balance on rear truck, arms out front. Spacewalks are similar to tic-tacs, but you don't set your front truck down. Notice that the legs and feet control the direction of the board. Arms are slightly ahead of the legs in motion, creating an inner gyration to continue moving forward. This is a shove-it. Place the toes of your rear foot slightly off the front side edge of your board. Put pressure onto the sole of your front foot. While jumping, scissor kick backwards with the toes of your rear leg and forward with the sole of your front foot. Swing arms forward so legs recoil, coming back as your board spins 180 degrees underneath you, and then land. The kick flip is an early 70s maneuver. The boardwalk is a 60s style surf maneuver. Many variations of this trick can be learned when cruising and experimenting. The finger flip. Crouch down, bent at the knees, grab the nose with your thumb on top of the board. Jump up and flip the board with the flick of your wrist. Watch the board for the right time to land on top. The 180 frontside slide. Approach with speed, slide back, end out with weight back and arms out front. The backside 360 slide. Wind up for a 360, spin, slightly on weight while using heel control of your front foot and toe control of your rear foot to control the board. You can use ground airs to practice a variety of board grabs that can be used in more advanced street or ramp maneuvers. Here are a few variations. Bend down, grabbing your board, hop up, and draw your knees to your chest, pulling the board tight to your feet, then release. Stationary ollie. Place front foot near the center of the board. Pop tail to ground. When tail hits, jump with back foot, pushing forward with front foot to level off the board. Land over trucks and absorb the shock by bending your knees. Rolling ollies are the same as the stationary ollies, except you need to balance with the motion of rolling sideways. There are many variations of foot plants. A boneless foot plant is with your front foot off the board. Grab board, pull front foot off, and plant it on the ground, keeping your back foot on the board. Boost off the planted foot and pull planted foot back onto board and land, bending knees to absorb shock and maintain balance. Taking your back foot off is called a regular foot plant. Use the same landing procedure, and remember, always land with both feet over the trucks. Stale boneless fish. Grab stale fish and do a boneless one. To do a street plant, approach at slow speed. Grab mute, which is front hand on front side rail. Take your front and then your back foot off. Thrust your weight onto your rear arm, as you would to do a one-handed handstand. Once you become vertical, swing your arm up, placing both feet on the board. When your feet are on the board, you can do many various contortions, such as the tuck knee, the sad plant, the Smith vert, and the one foot. To land, pull your board against your feet and let your weight bring you down next to your planted hand. Practice these maneuvers on your front lawn first to prevent scraped knees or damaged boards. The variations are endless. Just use your imagination and be careful not to drop the board on your fingers. To practice a handstand, grab the nose and the tail of the board. Slowly go into a handstand, having a spotter secure your weight over the board. The spotter slowly walks you so you can get used to the moving sensation upside down. To get out of the handstand, carefully fall over forward to your feet. To do a moving handstand, grab the tail and nose walking parallel to the board. Kick up into a handstand. Balance over the center of the board. Watch your fingers and don't lean too far in any direction. It's a good idea to use elbow pads when trying this maneuver.
Now watch how Dave, Joe, and Sean apply many of these basic maneuvers while ripping it up in some southern sunny weather. skateboard consists of urethane wheels and precision bearings, mounting hardware, risers and trucks, 7-ply maple deck, various urethane accessories, and grip tape. Put it all together, and you're ready to rip. As long as you feel comfortable on your board riding flatland, now it's time to try the intermediate section of the video. Bails, the safe way to get out of a potential slam.
Bailing's when you know you got no chance of making it. You just throw your board and you walk out of it safely.
Knowing how to bail is as important as making a trick. When learning any trick, don't be afraid to bail, because it's the safest way to prevent injuries. Everybody, from the beginner to the top professional, bails.
Pumping is also known as gyrating. Approach as you would continuous turns, except thrust your weight into each turn more than usual. Pumping is very self-explanatory by watching. To slash back, approach as you would a frontside kick turn. Lap back truck axle over and grind the edge, then kick turn back in. You can approach an object in order to grind it either backside or frontside. Either way, thrust your weight in the direction of the turn. Bend, then extend legs, maintaining a solid stance over your board. Prepare for resistance. You can grind one or both axles before turning off the object. Try variations like this layback curb grind. You can ollie into a 50-50 grind by ollieing to the top of the curb and grinding on both axles at the same time. Keep weight centered and don't lean to the side. You can either ollie or kick turn off, or be creative and invent different ways to exit. To do a nose wheelie, approach with moderate speed. Place feet in a semi-hang 10 position. This is a surf term for hanging all 10 toes over the nose. Keep your arms out front for balance and bend your knees. Start the wheelie by bending your ankles down with your center of gravity balanced over the front truck. Keep body movement to a minimum. Wheelie as far as you can. Do a tail wheelie by balancing over the back axle. Here's a reverse tail wheelie and a 1-foot tail wheelie. A G-turn can be accomplished by doing a wheelie on the front axle while turning at the same time. The no-handed nose pick. Approach in a wheelie, front foot on the nose. Shift weight from back axle to front axle on the edge. Pivot in, then out. Land fakie. Endo to axle. Endo around and zero in your back axle on the edge. Shift weight to back axle. Stall and drop in. Kickouts is a Michigan term for removing your feet from the board or various footsteps on the board. The shove it, the pirouette, fakie to the wall switch stance, and the reverse kickflip. Toe jam spin. Approach curb with moderate speed. Jam nose into curb, pivoting on front toe. Spin 360. Replace back foot. 180 frontside kick turn out. Try variations. Christies are also known as shoot the duck. Grab board with either hand. Balance weight between hand and stationary foot. Kick out other leg. .360 wheel slide. Use moderate speed, wind up for a backside 360, start to spin, and pivot on the back truck. Helipop. Approach at moderate speed. Keep feet on nose and tail. Pop a 180 ollie off the nose. Spin backside. Land on rear truck in a wheelie and continue to spin on rear axle. You can try other variations. Kickback slide. Approach at moderate speed. Pop a small ollie, dragging the tail while kicking back. Frontside crail grab slide. Pop a small ollie. Kick frontside and grab crail. Pull board towards body, then release. Try variations. This is a good example of a line put together utilizing a variety of different maneuvers. With any slide, practice slowly at first and then increase speed. Try this 540 hand slide. Backside rail slide. Approach object at full speed. Pop an ollie up so your rails are on the surface you're sliding on. Level board with slide and prepare to get off object by lifting front end up and kick turn 90 degrees off. Front side rail slide. Riding parallel to the obstacle, pop an ollie onto the object, turning upper body and head forward to see where you're going. Level your board when sliding and prepare to turn in. Kick turn 90 degrees in. Backside handrail slide. Go out instead of up because it's lower and easier. Pick a low hand railing. Approach at moderate speed and pop a big ollie to the middle of the hand railing. Level off the board and distribute weight in the center of the board. Slide down and come off rail turning 90 degrees. Land with knees bent to absorb the shock. A sidewinder can be achieved by grabbing front side and hopping into the air while kicking your rear leg back. Pull your front around and then land. Curb blunt. Approach object. Pull an extreme wheelie and grab mute. Unweight as you hop onto the curb. Stall with the back truck and tail on the edge of the curb and pull a fakie air back into the flat. Try variations. You can do just about any trick while acid dropping. It's important to remember that you'll be dropping and your weight will be concentrated on the top of the board. Land on top of the trucks so you don't crack your deck. Bend your knees to absorb the landing shock and watch out for the stones or cracks below. Don't jump up or kick out or your board will get pushed away from you in flight. You can try many variations. Ollie 180. Rolling at moderate speed and facing forwards, pop an ollie and turn your lower body 180. Your upper body will follow. Ollie kickflip. Place your rear foot on opposite side of spin, your front foot on side of spin and pop a normal ollie. Once airborne, spin the board with the toes of the front foot, keeping your eyes on the board, and land when the board has completed the 360-degree cycle. Ollie airwalk. Ollie grabbing the nose of your board with your front hand. Pull board away from your feet. Scissor kick legs out and put board back under feet. Ollie to tail. Ollie by guiding tail 180 degrees to landing point. Land with rear foot on tail and then drop in. Variations of ollies include ollie to tail roll and ollie to nose. Ollie to axle. Do a 90-degree ollie, landing 50-50. Watch where you land, stall on edge, and kick turn in. Other variations are the backside ollie up, the ollie to 50-50 grind, the rolling ollie, the ollie over the hip, the ollie over an ugly old garbage can, and the ollie over stairs. No comply. Pop an ollie and take your front foot off. Guide board with rear foot 180 and then land with rear foot on tail. Place your front foot back on board and drop in. Watch your package. No comply to bean plant. Plant front foot on curb. Pop rear wheels off curb. Grab backside rail with front hand and boost off with front leg. Land with both feet over trucks. Try foot plant variations like the boneless and the bean plant. Bone up to nose pick. Grab front side boneless and boost off the ground. Replace front foot just as you land on front axle. Balance on front axle and pull front side air in. My trick. Grab front side boneless. Spin 270 degrees. Replace front foot in air and land 50-50 on both axles. Kick turn in. Bone up to mute grab 180. Grab front side boneless, spin 90 degrees and land 50-50 on axles. twist into a mute grab and thrust body 180 degrees in a backside air to the ground. Bone up to tail spin. Grab front side boneless 180 to tail. Grab nose of board with front hand while releasing backhand. Place foot back on board, continue to spin and drop in. Blunt. Grab front side boneless. Cross over launch foot, boosting yourself up with front foot. Hit the tail on the edge of the wall, absorbing the shock with your knee. Deflect from the wall by pulling yourself in. Land and kick turn 180. Variations of foot plants include boneless acid drop, the sweeper acid drop, a boneless over an obstacle, and the two-step bone up to tail. Here's a couple of two-step foot plants in which Dave adds a new twist, ending up with his two-step bone up varial finger flip to tail. Try it on small objects first and wear protective gear. Street Miller flip. Approach front side and grab front side boneless. Leaning back, plant front foot near curb. Pull board over your body front side, planting your front hand behind you. While spinning, put your front foot back on the board and land in a rolling fakie. The El Garo flip is similar to a Miller flip, yet very different. Approach fakie. Bend and grab mute. Plant foot behind tail. Hit front truck on curb. Falling back on rear hand and spinning 270 degrees, set rear foot on board. Follow through and push off with hand. Lay back air to lay back. Approach at front side angle. Crouch and grab your board with your front hand. Plant rear hand on obstacle and lift board up to back axle on the edge. Pivoting weight on rear hand, turn board pointing in towards you, then kick turn down and push off with hand. This is a fakie egg to tail. Bone twist. Grab front side boneless and plant front foot. Plant front hand on the edge of the bench and swing body around inside to front hand. Place front foot back on tail as you land on bench and release with both arms, then drop in. This is a varial to lay back on bench. Lay back blunt. Grab board mute while planting back hand. Launch up to back truck and tail, stall, and fakie back in. Eggplant nose pick. Approach at a backside angle, bone up front side and plant your front hand on the wall. Pivot your body around toward your front arm and place your foot back on the board as you land with the front truck on the wall. Stall, then pull air back in, keeping your weight on the front arm, then push off. To do a layback air downstairs, grab your board mute, plant your back hand on the top edge. Pull an air down and over stairs, watching to see your landing zone. Hit tail and release arms, then ride away. Half Street Miller. Bone up front side. Plant front hand on the edge, turning 180. While in the air, place your foot back on board and land fakie. Nose grind handrail. Approach with moderate speed at a slightly backside angle. Bone up front side, planting your leading hand on the railing and direct your board to the railing. Replace your front foot as you land on your nose and grind backwards on the nose while guiding yourself with your weight on your front axle and your front hand. While grinding backwards, your hand and board should slide together. As you reach the end of the rail, shift your weight slightly from your front hand to your board. Release hands from the board and the rail as you drop off the end. There are many different ways to ride a wall by using 1 or 2 feet down or 1 or 2 hands down. You can add varials, as in this varial hand plant to wall. The options are endless. Try this inverted foot plant wall ride, or this inverted foot plant from wall. Create your own variations. Basic street plants are simple, but the variations are endless. Start first with simple maneuvers and gradually add more difficult contortions. We showed you several versions in the basic instruction, and now here are a few advanced street plants for the more ambitious street skater. The Gabby twist through legs. Grab mute and plant your back hand at the same time. Plant your front foot and then your back foot behind the board. Swing your front foot up, then boost with rear foot into handstand, putting board behind your body. Toss your board through your legs and catch the board in front of you, bringing your legs to the board at the same time. To ho-ho, approach with board backwards and grab behind your front foot with your front hand. Take off your rear foot and plant both your rear foot and hand. In one motion, swing up into a handstand by pushing up with the rear foot, keeping your front foot on the board and bringing your rear foot to the board. Let go of the board while planting front hand and extend legs to keep the board level. Stall or walk around on your hands and then bend legs to grab your board with either hand. Bring it back in and land. You can use your imagination to create gnarly tricks such as this. This trick is here and now documented and recognized as a Dave Campbell original. It incorporates many different skills, plenty of balance, and a sheer go-for-it attitude. But then again, it's just another trick. It's a happy every day. Always wear safety gear when attempting tricks that test your abilities.
If you've breezed through the instructional section so far, maybe what you need's a little soul style.
Yeah.
Soul style's just cruising, man. Soul style's when you got your board. You don't have to impress anybody. You don't have to do anything. You skate just for the love of skating. Soul style's like taking your board and just cruising, going 7-Eleven. Cruising down the street. You don't have to do anything. You just do what you want. If you want to do a long nose wheelie, do a long nose wheelie. If you want to do a grind on the curb, grind on the curb. If you fall, whatever. You just cruise.
Back to Dave. Handstand.
Just do what you want. You're free to do anything you want. There's your canvas. You're the artist. Go for it. Do whatever you want to do.
Wow, that was cool, Bill.
Dave's a buddy of mine. He's a good guy. He's an old-time skater. He's an old-time Michigan skater. Real hardcore, real underground, real backyard. That's the way we want to be. It's almost a status symbol to be a skater. You know, like it is to be the quarterback on a football team. You know, if you win a contest, everybody in the area is going to know about it.
With the growing popularity of organized street contests, the tricks you've learned in this video and the tricks you practice on everyday street terrain can be applied to a contest setting. Contests are a means of getting noticed and could lead to future sponsorship.
Backside wall ride. Approach at a backside angle with moderate speed. Bend knees and pop an ollie to the wall with the nose up. Stay compressed and ride the wall, absorbing shock with your knees. Kick turn and push front down with forward heel and bend knees to absorb shock during landing. An indie grab is the same as a backside wall ride, except you'll compress more to grab the board indie with the back hand on the front side rail. Use hands if necessary to secure your balance. This is a crail grab. Bench to wall is another approach to wall riding, except in this case, you'll have more time to prepare for the shock of landing. Jumping launch ramp is a radical way to have fun, but there are some important tips that you should know before you try it. Learn to acid drop off high curbs, benches, and things like loading docks first. Develop your skills of landing over the trucks so that you don't crack your board. Keep the nose of your board up by pushing on the tail slightly with your rear foot so you don't nosedive and slam. Resist the urge to kick the board away in flight so you don't bail unless necessary. Bend your knees to absorb the shock of landing so you don't jar your body. Watch and feel where your feet are and know how to land safely. At first, try going low and off the side of the ramp to get used to the feel of it. Don't try to grab the board right away. Approach the ramp at a slow speed first, then gradually work up to a higher speed with more height and distance. Once you get comfortable with going over the ramp, try grabbing backside or front side. Take it slow, and don't try to fully tweak a method air immediately. If you ride goofy foot, attempt your backside grab maneuvers low and off the left side of the ramp. Frontside maneuvers low and off the right side of the ramp. If you ride standard foot, attempt your backside grab maneuvers low and off the right side of the ramp. Frontside maneuvers low and off the left side of the ramp. This will help you learn how to do your launch tricks safely on any size ramp. It's always good to think your maneuvers out before you attempt them. Know how to do them mentally before you attempt them physically. Try them standing still on a soft surface before attempting them on a hard surface. Plan out the timing of the maneuver. Then once you feel comfortable with the different aspects of each trick, you can adapt these skills to the terrain of your choosing. Knee pads, elbow pads, wrist guards or gloves, and a helmet are very important when riding any ramp. Safety gear will protect you during wipeouts. With safety gear, you can get up from a fall without an injury and go for the trick again right away. Practice makes perfect. Always check the ramp's construction before you ride it. Make sure all is secure and that no nail heads, sharp edges, or splinters are sticking up. Also check to see if the ramp's approach edge is secure with no bumps and that the plywood is not weak from wear and is without holes. Clean all debris away from the runway in front of the ramp and the landing zone beyond the ramp. As you can see, there are many different tricks that you can do off a launch ramp. Don't be afraid to rewind in order to review the proper positions and landings of these tricks. Start with basic tricks first, then progress at your own pace. Remember that you can enjoy learning more without broken bones. Looking for a little adventure? You can add variety and challenge to ramp launching by setting two ramps next to each other. Approach the ramp with good speed and pop or pull an air off the top edge. Level off and angle the nose down with your weight forward and centered over your board. Land on all four wheels, bending at the knees to absorb landing shock. Land perpendicular to the transition and prepare for an immediate increase in speed. Then ride on. Riding a quarter pipe is one of the first steps towards riding vertical. Before you ride a half pipe, you should ride a quarter pipe. Approach the ramp slowly at first and ride it low. Notice that your body will be perpendicular to the ramp's surface at all times. Keep your weight centered over the board and don't lean on your tail or your nose too much. Always keep your knees bent a little to maintain balance. For tips on how to build ramps, check out Thrasher magazine for their column called Rampage. Also check out Trans World magazine's column called Ramp Locals. Learn to knee slide by wearing knee pads. Drop to your knees, dragging the tops of your feet against the surface. Keep your upper body weight back and your knees out front. You can apply many of the street maneuvers we've taught you to quarter pipe ramp riding. When doing wall rides like this, you have to remember you're hitting serious vertical. Make sure your ramp is secured to the wall and prepare for maximum speed coming down. Backside wall rides are similar to street wall rides, except it's easier to get more height and you have more time to prepare for landing. Bend your knees to absorb shock. Learn to fakie low at first and gradually build up speed and height. Keep your center of gravity over your board. Always look in the direction you're going and be prepared to roll down fakie at high speed. Fakies are an essential basic maneuver you need to know to ride a half pipe.
Slamming's when you're fully committed to a trick and you fall. Road rash, that gnarly raspberry you get on your hip when you slam going downhill. No, man, road rash is big old scabs. You know, skaters call it scabbing up. You fall, you get a big old cut on your arm. I mean, you're not going to stop from it. Still skate, but hey, listen, you wear your safety gear, you're going to avoid the road rash. So be smart, wear safety gear.
You can find skate spots just about anywhere. Just look around. There are skaters from all walks of life across the globe. The weather conditions vary from place to place. Some lucky with a rad climate, others unlucky with a harsh climate. But no matter what the weather, if there's a smooth place with natural or man-made terrain, skaters will find it, ride it, and hopefully respect it and value it as their sacred spot. Make sure you're aware of cracks, rocks, mud, water, glass, any kind of debris. You just have to watch out for it because it can cause a potential slam. Ditches can be improved by adding curbs, PVC pipe, fence post, anything. Plywood can be used to make an entrance into the ditch, and that way you can get used to riding it back and forth as if you would on a half pipe. When going to the ditch, they're going to be locals. Just be cool. Don't thrash their spot. Don't snake them. Make some friends. Don't forget, cool skaters don't trash their skate spots.
My instructional section is basically just out there for you guys. Gotta, understand it, learn it, try things. The more you get from it, the more it's gonna make me feel happy because, it's good. It's out there for you guys.
Once you have your skateboard, you have pretty much everything you need. Skating can be fun. Street ramps. They're not necessarily for jumping. You can do anything you want on them. 60s, 70s, 80s style, anything. It's up to your own creativity. Practice basic tricks on them. Do gnarly tricks on them. Just experiment. You can have hours of fun in your driveway. You don't need anybody else. Just you, your skateboard, and a ramp. There's no rules. It's just up to your own personal creativity.
I love skateboarding. I want to see it prosper. I want to see it become a real thing and be accepted by the public eye. Skaters live skateboarding. It's a lifestyle. In my mind, it's a lifestyle. A dedicated skater will skate just for the love of the sport, just for the sake of being a skater. Because they're unique people. No two people skate alike. Everybody has their own style. I'd like to see more girls skate. I don't think skating's all masculine or anything. I think it's a sport just anybody can enjoy. You can never ignore the basics. You can never forget it. By skating, you grow. And by growing, you learn. And by learning, you prosper.
The first time I ever saw this trick, Chris Cook did it in the Oceanside contest in 1986. I saw it, I respected him for doing it, and now I try it wherever possible.
Position your trucks on the rail, grind down, acid drop off.
That's street survival.
The raddest trick I've ever seen is 360 eggplant off a ramp, off a street ramp. That's a trick I invented. It's one of the ones I'm real proud of.
Approach a street ramp with maximum speed, plant your forward hand, grab your board with your back hand, and spin your body 360 degrees frontside. When learning this trick, don't try to do the 360 the first time. Try to land it in a 180. And always wear safety gear while learning this trick. During this video, you'll notice that most of us don't wear safety gear. Remember, we've been skating for many years and are experienced with advanced skating. You should always wear protective gear when attempting tricks that test your abilities. I like to wear protective pads when I try something new and different. You should too. If people think they're too cool to wear equipment, they're gonna get hurt, straight out.